Hi guys, my name is Meads. This is going to be a review for Figma, and we have Bruce Lee. Now this is a very interesting release, and when I saw the announcement on this, quite intrigued. This is probably my first time seeing Figma that's after an actual person. I've seen figure arts, this is the Bandai, another figure line that they've created, like Michael Jackson, well as the movie characters. Although Figma is doing some of the Avengers, but they don't really had the likeness on the actual movie characters. More of their take on it, so it's a little different. But this one, this is quite interesting. And also, looking at the box art here, one thing I've noticed is the hands. The hands are the old style. This is the one with the hinge, with the connected wrist peg. That's the old style, which has been updated now, where it's more of the actual hand, and you have a separate wrist joint with two pegs. That way, you don't see that hinge right there. I'm not sure if you're gonna see that, but later on, as we do a close-up, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's not gonna be seen here. But the newer style is a lot better in terms of looks. Yeah, interesting. Anyways, looking here, seems like we have three faces, and Nunchucks, his signature weapon, or his weapon of choice. And if you haven't seen one of those video clips where he's playing ping pong with nunchucks, you should check it. It's awesome. Here we go. Here's the box art, and quite a bit of poses here. Really cool. And you have that iconic stance. And this might be a spoiler, but I recall there was a movie, I can't remember which one, something with a bear claw. I think it was Finding Bolo, and no surprise, he beats Bolo, and he had that. I'm not quite sure what you call that. Not really a cry, but just the way he finished off from Bolo, and it's actually quite it's kind of weird. It kind of gives you an emotion that he defeated an opponent, but it seems like he doesn't want to, but he has to. Kind of like that. Anyways, very interesting. But yeah, you should check out Bruce Lee's movies if you haven't done so. Those are the classics. And here we go. You got that nice looking stance there. Really nice, and I think that pretty much it for the box art. I've shown pretty much everything there. Let's take a look inside. Here we go. We got Bruce Lee. This is just amazing. I like how they sculpt the muscles, especially the abdomen area right there. That looks great. Even the paint app, you can see a little bit of subtle shading there, and as well as his pants here, or his leggings. Yeah, quite great. The sculpt is just amazing. Really cool. Although there are still a few things that could have been better. And, well, for me, I'm just not too fond of Figma's torso area. It's the way they do this. The extra flaps. Doesn't quite feel fluid. And we kind of see that on Captain America, where it looks weird. On this one, it sort of works. Just depends on how you've angled him. Like on this pose, it's not too bad, or even here. But when you go like this, you kind of see that, and that's where it kind of feels unrealistic. Even on the back side here, it's just that you get that extra. Yeah, it looks a little weird. Well, it's the shadows. Like maybe on this one, not so bad, but yeah, you kind of get what I'm trying to say. But nonetheless, it looks great so far. Now let's go over articulation. We have your typical Figma neck joint here, and there's really not much of a hindrance, so he can move or shift his neck. Yep. In terms of the hair sculpt, not too bad. We do have that seam line where we can remove the face or swap it out. And on this one, it's not so bad. Yep. We got the shoulder joint here. And on top of that, this whole top part, including the back, it's made of that flexible material. So there is a little bit of give, especially this part here. You can actually tuck the shoulder inward. Yeah, you got that. And actually, it seems like a lot of figures lately are doing this flexible material. First time I've seen that is in Play Art Sky, but now they're incorporating with in a lot of figures. And I think Figma has been doing that lately. Well, I think they've been doing it, but more so now with this. So that's great. Now, we got the shoulder joint, which is a bit hindered by this. And it's not too bad. I mean, he still can have his arm outward, but not to the point where he can actually stretch it out this way. Yeah. But you can always rotate this way and up. Not sure why Bruce Lee will have his hands like this. And just certain angles that something you gotta just play around with this joint. I mean, there we go. You got that outstretch that way. Yeah. I guess not so bad. You just gotta play around with this joint here. There we go. And get that tucked in there. Right, moving on, we have the elbow, which is actually fairly good. Well, in terms of Figma standard, it's not too bad. Then you have the wrist joint here, which is for all hands, and it's your old style where you get the peg connection there. There's going to be a little excess, and that's typical of the old style. You can always trim that off. Yep, there we go. So I'm not sure, maybe they've already made the prototype for Bruce Lee a long time ago. Yeah, hence why we have that particular hands, and just got released recently. It's interesting. Now we have the torso area here, which you got quite a bit of articulation here. You can actually move this way, which is kind of ridiculous. It's not going to be moving that much. Maybe this much here, then you also have the waist. There we go. And that's great. And you have a bit of rocking motion there. It's quite nice. This inside part seems like it's a hard plastic. So only this part here is flexible. Yep. You have a bit of a up crunch there. Yep. Which is good. And also backwards. Yep. Good for dodging kicks. Now for the waist, which we already covered here, but for the in terms of the legs, he can do the splits, which is good. And you have the tie swivel there. And you can pop that off too. Not just kidding. Let me put this back on. But this whole thing is quite flexible, and it's actually just free floating. It's just the way these things are connected kind of keeps that whole waist up. Yeah. So this is definitely great. Yep. And even on backwards here, you can do a back kick. Yep. Or looks like is ice skating. And for the knee joint, here we go. And I like that color of the knee. Sometimes they don't have the right color, it's kind of off. But this one, just the right color, along with his pants. So that's good. Then you have the ankle joint here. Likewise, you have the white Figma joint, which is good also. And you can do ankle at ankle, so that's really great. And I think that pretty much wraps up the review. Would have been great. We have a tall joint, but something tells me that we're not getting it on Figma, but maybe Figuarts will do it. We'll see. But yeah. And on the other side, it's just flat. I haven't worn this kind of shoes for the martial arts, or maybe just it's a typical shoe for this. So I'm not sure if this actually just is flat like this. It doesn't have like grip. But probably not. Something tells me you kind of need that sliding thing. It's probably lightweight too. Anyways, that's pretty much it for articulation. Let's go over the variety of faces and hands. Alright, so this does come with a Figma base, which are typical. Let's see here. Oh, we got some information here. Might be worth checking out. So here it says Bruce Lee, and the Bruce Lee signature are registered trademark of Bruce Lee Entertainment. Bruce Lee name, image, likeness, and related. What's it called? Indicia are intellectual property of Bruce Lee Entertainment. Okay, all rights reserved. BruceLee.com, and it's made in China. Yep. Huh, interesting. Oh, that's Figma base right there. And we have the hands here. And I have to say, this is one of those where you have the right amount of pairs of hands. Because you have the open hands here, we have the closed fist. Then you have one for holding the nunchucks in a certain pose. Then you have one where you can hold the nunchucks or other weapons. And you have one for a stylized posing. And you have a total of 5 pairs of hands, and I think it's just right. Sometimes it's ridiculous where they give you too much, and you're probably not going to be using all of them. But this one, yeah, I can see using all of them for different poses. So with that, I'd like to use this one first. Swap them out. Quite easy to do. One of the things I like about Figma is the straight peg. There we go. So in some sense, I'm happy that they went with the old style hands. It's a lot easier. The new ones are not too bad either, but there's a little bit of a restriction. And possibly you can break the wrist joint, but I have not broke any, or haven't break any of the new Figma wrist joints. So yeah. And you got this nice pose here. And I think he does this kind of losing of his hands, and when he's ready to strike his opponent, either he whips his hands or flicks them or hits him or something. Or changes him to his fist. But we have this iconic pose here, which is great. I like it. Really nice. And also sometimes he kind of rubs his nose. Not quite sure if that's just a style or maybe removing his sweat, or he's just teasing his opponent. Yeah. Alright, so that's that. Moving on, let's swap out with the fist. So we get a pair of that too. There we go. So definitely with this one, with high kicks. Yeah. Well, this is the one where you're gonna have to play around with the waist. There we go. Yep, quite nice. Actually, it'd be cool if I just have this pose And on the Figma stand, actually, let's try that. Let's see here. There we go, we got the flying kick. Nice. And maybe have this on a rotating base. There we go, that's one of the cool poses. Let's see what else we got here. Actually, before we get to the nunchucks, let's swap up the face. So for the face, you're gonna be removing the front part of the hair, which could be a little tricky sometimes. And I'm kind of just using the face to kind of push it outward. Then once you have a little gap there, kind of use your fingernails, but I also have the tendency of might break, so I don't want to do it. I don't want to pry it with my fingernails, but just take your time. Although I already removed this before, it just, yeah, the grip on that is, yeah. And it's always interesting how they've designed this peg system. It's always different for every figure. It would be cool if they've standardized that. That way you can swap faces. But anyways, so this one seems like it's the same color as the pants here, and they just kind of painted that on. Let's try this one here. There we go. We got this face here where he's kind of like channeling his inner chi. Yep. I cannot imitate his the sounds he makes, but for those who know Bruce Lee, you probably know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there we go. Let's see what else we got here. I'm trying to think. Actually, this one, the face, or he's looking straight forward. Unlike this one, he's looking on his left. So you kind of, you know, I wish there's one where he just has his face kind of like smiling but serious, looking straight forward. But something tells me that he always has this stance where his left is always in the front. That way, well, if you're a boxer or a fighter, you usually want to keep your dominant hand on the back. That way you have more momentum to strike your opponent. Cause so you rotate your body while you're punching. Like this. So that's probably why they have that particular face. Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure. Is Bruce Lee right-handed? It's possible. And there's also that face, which we seen in the movie. Which, another way to remove this thing. It's stuck there. There we go. Kind of use the chin. Although I'm not too fond of that technique. Feels like it's gonna rip. There we go. Anyways, moving on, we have this kind of like the shout or cry. There we go. And that just the way you look on the movie. And obviously you can probably use this with other things or other gestures, but yeah, quite nice. There we go. I'm gonna switch the face back and let's go to the last part, the nunchucks. Alright, here we go. So we have the two nunchucks here, and these nunchucks are great. I've actually been searching for a good chain, and it's hard to actually find this kind of chain here. Because I have mold kits where they only give you the stick with the loop at the end, but not chain. So this is a great nunchucks for this scale. Yep, you get two of them, and of which you can have in pose. So for this one, I kind of just roll it down like so. And likewise, we do the same on the other side. Roll it down. There we go. We're gonna just push it in there, and there we go. Just ready to use it. Really nice. Alright, swapping the other hand. It's likewise, we can just slide this in. This one, you kind of want to open up the hand a little bit, gonna help him get that thing there. And there we go, we got the nunchuck. Unfortunately, there is no it would be nice if there's actually a ball joint here where he can do this movement. Yeah, so you only have that hinge, but yeah, you can have this spin around. Yep. And likewise, you can have this tuck under his armpit. And you know, you got that certain pose. Just gotta have it just right angle. There we go. Really cool. And obviously you can do the same thing with this. You'll have this hold here. You got two nunchucks. And also if you wanna, and the other part is let's swap this side with the other hand here. And you've probably seen this pose where you have the arm over, or the nunchuck on the back side, and he's holding it, and he's about to do a blow from the top. There we go. Just slide this in there, and there we go. That's a cool stance also to do. Although, just depending how, you might want to just put it in a certain angle like this way. It's not so bad. Yeah. Looks great. And that wraps up the review for Bruce Lee. I have to say, this is a really great figure. I mean, there are a few things that could have been better, in my opinion. The torso could have been a little bit more smoother. But overall, the definition of the muscles, the way they sculpted that, the articulation for the most part is great. I really like it. And as well as the variety of hands, the nunchucks, that's great. And even the face is just the right amount for where you can do his iconic poses. And it's just one of those that I really appreciate, that they gave you just the right amount. Not too much, not too little, just right. Anyways, that's about it for the review for Figma Bruce Lee. I cannot wait for the figure art's take on this one, but something tells me later on that there are good and bad on each figures, and it's just up to us which one we want to go for, but we'll see when that time comes. Anyways, that's about it for the review. Hope you guys like it. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, that's about it. So until then, this is Meads. Thanks for watching.